we take care of other people and not so much ourselves, and you will continue to do and do and do for other people, and then you find yourself in a situation where, you know, like, no one can help me out my situation. I have to help myself. So one thing I know, if I don't know anything else, I know about not having enough money to take care of things when they come up. So as a single parent, that's something that I've often dealt with. So not having enough money to do all the things that you need to do. When you have kids, being a single parent, doing it on your own, one income, is always something that pops up. So, of course, I could have had a $610 bill. So I declined getting it was a coolant line. So in my mind, this is always how I've thought, is there something I could do myself? Yes, your girl will try to work on her car herself if she thinks that she can do it. So I'm going to investigate it. I have about 2 weeks to be able to figure out if I can get the job done cheaper, if I can have my son help me, or something that I may be able to do myself. 2 weeks. Otherwise, I need to spend, let me see, it was $318 plus to flush the radiator was like another $169, which I may not get done anyways. But all in all, I had to pay $600 that I have, but something else may come up that I don't necessarily want to shell out that much money, right? So, and then, just trying to be able to help your kids and whatnot. So I thought like maybe things would get easier as time went on, as my older kids get, as they get along the way, get on their own. Although my kids are still staying with me, but it just seems as though like I'm taking what they can't do. I'm trying to help them. So it's like I don't have enough money to really cover everything that I need to cover. Okay. As to why I'm on here in these YouTube streets trying to figure out what it is that I can do and try to, hustle a little bit, put some little cream on my hand. So my shea butter that I like using instead of lotion. But that's just something that I've noticed here, that, when you think that like you have it all figured out and nothing else crazy is going on, and then boom, something else pops up. So the money issues are, I have I have bills up my tush that I need to take care of, but I've never been one to stress. And that's probably one thing, like constantly I'm thinking about it, but maybe I'm stressed, but I just work through it, and you take one day at a time. And I still try to do what I can to enjoy myself and not be so like bills oriented. So money causes stress because of having an uncertainty. You're also comparing yourself to other people and their situations. And that's one thing that I was always brought up, being told, sometimes you have people, they pretend that they're living this life that really they're struggling, but they won't tell you that they're struggling financially. They will come off like they got it all together when really they don't. So you really need to not be so concerned about what you have to try to remember. You have to remember that people like to, what I call, showboat, and you never realize that they could really be struggling. Even when you have someone that has like a two income situation, you have a lot of people that are living paycheck to paycheck, and they don't know when it all is going to like implode. Okay. So I try not to compare myself, even though I would love to have a second income. That's never been my situation, right? So I just do the best and try to work my way. And like, here lately I've gotten myself into a lot of credit card debt that I'm desperately trying to get myself out of. Okay. And, I try not to compare myself to anyone else, because some people are just not going to tell it. They're not going to be honest about what they really have going on. And they're going to make it seem like everything's just like really perfect when it's not. So, and then it's very hard with social media, because social media have you thinking somebody's traveling, they're living a life, but they could post a picture that was taken, a year ago, and you're thinking, currently they're somewhere. So you can't believe everything that you see on when people post stuff on social media. You can't believe that, so that's just kind of my take on that. Um, so besides the credit card stuff, um, me having my mortgage, and then you have, I call them house bills. Like for me, how I've always thought, although I have, you may have doctor bills, you may have credit card bills, there's no way I'm gonna be homeless or without a roof over my head when it comes to credit cards. I'm going to make sure you pay the necessities first, which is going to be, your heat, your electricity, even internet's not really a necessity, but um, you're going to pay that stuff first, and then the other bills come, after the fact. So, um, I was some time ago, I will say about 7 years ago, I bought, I say bought, but I went into the path of buying my own place. I live in a townhouse. And knock on wood, I haven't had any major issues with buying a home, and it could be very, how can I say, it could be very overwhelming in the beginning. But, sitting here right now, like 7 years later, I'm happy that I bought, because things that are happening around us today, and with everything being so expensive, you have, you know, you have people who are paying, $1,200 and $1,300 for a 1 bedroom apartment, so I feel like I did good buying when I did, and so that was a plus. But um, I would say that that was like something that I was afraid of getting into, because I didn't know that I can do it. But all in all, the space that I'm in right now, like I made it into my room where I sleep, which was a good call. Like I didn't pay anybody, so is I think being a homeowner, especially if you don't necessarily have like the money, you need to be willing to do things to save yourself money. So that was why I brought that up. Saving yourself when you're a homeowner, if you can do things. I've put in garbage disposals. I've put in walls, doors. I'm working on my steps. I've been procrastinating with that, but that's my next thing that I need to tackle, is to finish my steps. I've torn this carpet up and I have not gotten to it. So they look like they're unfinished steps. Um, I've put down floors. I've painted walls. So for me, that's, even though I own my home, that's a whole nother discussion. Even though I'm in my own home, I really make it a point to try to save money through doing things DIY. Um, because I don't have money to like pay somebody $5,000 to come in and, like I said, finish my steps. But the thing is, they say time is money, right? Money is time. So, but I also have joy in trying to do things myself, and then I can brag and say that I did that, right? So that's nice. But like, you just, to me, in this day and time, you just need to do what you can to try to save money, to try to stretch money. Um, Money has always been the focus of my life. I don't know, it's just consuming just because I don't have enough of it. So that's just always been my situation. I have had a support system to help me if I really got into a jam, but I've always been one to try to lean on myself. Okay, I'll work extra hours and whatnot, but I just have gotten to the point now I just don't really want to work extra hours, but I will if I need to. If I got into a dire situation, I will. But I try to shop and get discounted items if I need to, like all this in the effort to try to save. And so I guess my goal right now is that, with me trying to do the YouTube and whatnot, I need to really crack down and focus on that so I can really, like, my dream is to be able to be debt free. I would absolutely love to be debt free. Love, 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 love. So, with me soon being 50, I think when I look at other people in their situation, I don't want to be, and no dig at anybody that has to work a little job to pay for something in conjunction with their social security or whatever. I just don't want to pay. I don't want to be paying a mortgage and being retired. I would love to, be able to kind of do my thing in my 60s, right? And still have some youthfulness about me. But, right now with the times that we're living in, I don't know. I think there's so many things that's uncertain right now for the future. So that's, but even still, you just have to take things day by day and really kind of try to plan out how you're going to get through it. And I mean, at the end of the day, don't stress yourself. You can only do what you can do and need not stress yourself about what you cannot do anything about right now. I've had in the past where I've had bill collectors call me or whatever. You just have to not let it stress you. And there's ways in which you can get out of some things that if you really just know that, that you're going to get to the point of being garnished, then I would say look into bankruptcy. You know, Depending on what you can remove that stress off of you. So that is an option, or maybe just kind of research and kind of see, you know, what your options are depending on your situation. And maybe I wish I would have done this when I was younger, really educate myself more on money. And because particularly in I don't want to say, well, sometimes you have parents, they're so focused on trying to live and pay bills and make sure they feed their kids, and the activity of the kids, you just trying to make everything work, right? That you're not so focused on teaching your kids about money, and even educating yourself about money and how to, do things better. When I was at one point, I was living in a state and I relocated. And when I relocated to where I was at now, I was so, when I say ultra concerned about living in a new area and the rent being so, I think like where I was living, let's just say my rent was 600, but where I was going, I know the rent was going to be more. So for that same kind of apartment, like my rent was going to be like $1,000. That was a lot to me. So what I did, did for myself. I said, okay, you know what? I had bust my chops. I saved all this money to make sure I can make this move. You know, I'm not having any issues with deposits for utilities, um, down payments for apartments, rental truck. I'm not even at one point I had my stuff stored in the other state so that when I move into my place, I can go back and get the stuff and come back to my new state with the things. Okay. So when I actually got the apartment, when I say that was the least stressful thing is to be able to know that okay, they want $2,000 total. Here you go. You need $350 down for electricity. Here you go. Oh, the U-Haul truck is going to cost 500. There you go. Like that was just so easy. And if by chance if you're going to do a major move, if you can have, you know, money set aside, whether it be like income tax money or whatnot, to be able to do that major move, that would be nice. But I wish when I was really younger and raised my kids that I would have really focused on how to do better with my money. Can't do anything about it now, but that's one thing I would say, and that would be one thing that I would, as my kids are coming along, I'm want to like stress to them to really try not to put yourself in a situation where you're robbing from Peter to pay Paul. Like live within your means best as you can, you know. But you know, I have 3 kids. I have 2 that I think are going to be spenders. So I don't know. I don't know if this age I could really change it, but that's something if I really could gift them something, I would gift them putting them into like a budgeting class or something to teach them about money. Okay. I need to get back to budgeting, but I think when I was mentioning about me relocating and having the money saved so I can do all the deposits that I needed to do, one thing that I said and I followed, and I still kind of do to this day. If my rent is, let's call it $1,000, 500 out of each pay. If my bills were like my main bills, I'm not talking about if those were $2,000 a month, let's just say, I would take 1,000 out of one check. So every 2 weeks, I'm paying $1,000. Okay. So that's something that kind of keeps you out of having to take your whole paycheck and throw it on your bills and then you have nothing. Another thing that I liked to do when I would get that income tax return, which I haven't had a lump of income tax return in a while. Actually, I lie. The reason why I had a lump just recently is that I changed my exemptions to 0, but that's a whole nother. People say you shouldn't. Some people say, you know, because you get, you're letting the government borrow your money, you know, and with the whole IRS thing changing, or I don't know what's going on with IRS. I guess there's going to be a delay. So that's a whole nother thing. But back to what I was saying. If you have your income tax, if you could pay everything that you are potentially behind on and then pay yourself up, let's say 15 days, like a payment, you kind of set yourself up. And if you can kind of continue with that for the rest of the year, then you put yourself in a situation where you're not so stressed about bills. So also another thing is setting yourself up on bill pay. If you can, do bill pay and make sure you know how much it has to be in that account. Make sure that money is in that account and leave it there. Leave it alone. Don't pinch off of it. So these are little tips that I would do that has helped me. But, you know, all in all, when you have credit card debt, credit cards are evil sometimes, especially when you are one that overspends or you don't have enough to cover the credit cards. That makes it even hard in itself. So that's kind of my issue, that you have things that's coming up and things that you want to do and you just don't have enough money to do all the things that you need to do. And then you have food is so expensive now too. Um so I mean, that's something that I'm almost certain I'm not. You people who haven't really had that as an issue that they struggle with are finding now that the common complaint is food is so expensive now. So I'm really kind of working through and trying to figure out, even for me, I think I'm going to have to change what I'm doing when it comes to different things that I'm cooking and things I'm liking to try. I need to probably keep it a little bit more basic to help my grocery bill. I'm so accustomed to, if there's something I want to cook, I just go get the stuff and cook it. So I probably need to be a little bit more mindful of that kind of thing. So all in all, like, we're all out here trying to make it. And of course, some people are doing better than others, but that is why I'm here. I'm trying to see if I can get some of this YouTube money and keep my butt in these YouTube streets and really try to stay focused. I keep saying that I need to do better, but it's such a challenge for me to really sit down and try to talk to YouTube. That is not something I'm used to, and I'm just trying to keep putting myself out there. Okay. I've done the live videos, so that was different for me. And I've done, I think I'm up to like 24 videos right now, 24, 25 videos. And so, that's where I'm at. So I will keep at it until, my plan is to keep at it, not until. I will keep at this because this is where I see me making more of an impact and kind of just sharing things about myself and my journey. Um, so I don't want you to let the fact that you don't have much money to do all the things that you want to do. You have to just think in your mind, how can I make my situation better, and really be intentional about the steps that you make. Me doing YouTube is really trying to put myself in a different situation, and I just see bigger things, better things for my future. And I want to be able to help my kids, put them in a better situation. So so that they are able to just kind of flourish and do their own thing. That's really my ultimate goal is, as a mother, we tend to we take care of other people and not so much ourselves, and you will continue to do and do and do for other people, and then you find yourself in a situation where, you know, like, no one can help me out my situation. I have to help myself. That's where I'm at. And, if I can get my kids situated and out my hair, then I feel like I can really begin to work on what I need to work on financially. Okay. So, but I will not let it stress me. Not at all. No stress here. I put myself in this situation, helping and doing, and I have to get myself out of the situation, and I will. So until next time, take care of yourself and be safe. Okay? See ya. Bye.